Visit Elias Restaurant, a unique Greek Caribbean fusion restaurant where the food is heavenly, the service divine, and the ambience mesmerizing. Enjoy bakes and saltfish, roti, jerk chicken, curry chicken, stew fish, oxtail, curry goat, stew turkey, pea soup, cowfoot soup, sour beer, ginger beer, Slovaki dinners, clubhouse sandwiches, and so much more. Visit Elias Restaurant, located at 3310 King Street in Toronto, Canada. This is Trish St. Hill with QX Television. I'm here today with Deon Browne Harrison. And Deon is here with Power of Networking. It's a project, a workshop. You're having a workshop today with the Power of Networking. And I'm going to let Deon tell us what this workshop is about and what's the name of your company, etc.
Well, the Power of Networking is a partnership between Mel Monroe. She's the founder of the Power of Networking. I joined her this is our fourth one that we've done, and I've been on board with her ever since we started. Basically, the Power of Networking is to give you the tools necessary when you go on an interview. So, what does that mean? How to write a resume? What's the difference between a chronological resume and a functional resume? Which resumes are appropriate? How do you land that and secure the interview over the phone? Typically, these days, we conduct phone interviews, and employers are listening for certain buzzwords. When you look for the resume, just to start, what jargon or words that are on your resume that matches the job description? Not fixating your resume to falsify anything, but using the terminologies and the jargon so that your resume optimized to the top. Also, it's about networking on a level of you're in a room with people of like mind and like attitude, and they're here as business owners. If you look around, we have vendors who are business owners, as well as people that are coming in who are relocating to the state, or they've dislocated workers, they lost their job, now they have to go out. We also are educating interns, college students who are going out on internship, why internships are necessary, when to start applying for internship. It's a full suite on just how do you go out, network, leverage the relationship you have, and bring that relationship to help you in the different areas of pursuing a career and just getting your foot wet.
Okay, you mentioned chronological resume versus functional. Tell us the difference.
So a chronological resume start with your present employer going back to their past employers. A functional resume basically highlights all of your skill set at the top, and down at the bottom, they just give time and title. Now, we as employers, I'll give you an example. If someone has P&L responsibility and they've had it throughout their career, well, I don't know you. So if you put a functional resume and you put P&L at the top, I'm looking for P&L responsibility, but I don't know when you when you had exposure and experience with P&L. Because all you did was list your time and title, all your skill set is at the top, and I don't know when it occurred. So employers don't like functional resumes for the simple fact that we don't really know when the skills occurred. And we may need it more current than dated. You may have worked on P&L 20 years ago.
Right.
Chronological takes me through the steps in the order of which the time, title, duties and responsibility, when they occur, and it goes back from your present all the way to your current, your first employer.
What are some of the mistakes that people make in terms of interviewing, or with could be with their resume, could be just period. You're looking for a job. What are some of the mistakes? Could be maybe the way they dress, type of hairstyle they have, things that they do with their resume. Questions not to ask, questions that you should ask, and how should you ask it? Can you give us a little bit of feedback about that so that people who are watching this who are in the job market might have something valuable from looking at this?
Okay, let's start with hair. My partner Mel Monroe, she's big on hair. She loved that discussion because she has curly locks. So I put my extension curly locks in, and I purposely did it for this event to just make a point. So the hair thing is very dear to us people of color, and when I say people of color, brown people, people of African descent, Indian, every one of us fit in the hair category. If you're going for a financial job, I wouldn't necessarily do this type of hairstyle. I would do straight or put your hair back in a bun, in a ponytail. It's almost as if, the world's a stage and you wear the mask and the uniform for that event. So if you're auditioning for a play, whatever the play is about, the setting, that's the exterior that you present. Once you get the job, you do as the Romans do. If they're business casual, you're business casual.
Right.
But that's a big mistake, not wearing suit and tie. You think it's business casual because everyone else is walking around in khakis and a polo shirt or a button down. You need to make that first impression. You really need to wear that suit and tie and be well groomed, no facial hair if you go in finance. Now, if you're looking for a job on the internet, that's a very key one. A lot of people don't know that seeking a position on the internet, you're just posting your resumes to jobs and you're hoping someone will view it. Well, what happens on the back end is we use an applicant tracking system and we're getting 100 resumes for one job. How do we identify who has the skills? A lot of applicant tracking systems have a mechanism where we can do a keyword search. So what you want to do is, if they're looking for someone who has leadership experience, managing people, direct report, you indicate that as clear as possible on your resume. If you're in the garment district and they use certain jargons and you've had exposure and experience in those areas, use the same terminology that they're using on the job description. Because more than likely, we're going to do the keyword search on the words that are on the job description. And what that will do is it will optimize your resume to the top, which means out of 100 people, you'll now elevate to number 7 or number 5 versus number 60, which you will never get viewed.
And so for those people who are looking, I just want to make sure people understand, you're not saying that you should permanently change your hairstyle for a job, but you have to do what you have to do to get that job. And so, like you said, when you're there, you got it, you do as the Roman do, but you don't do that to get the job. And some people might feel, well, why should I have to do that? And you would say?
I would say, if you want the job, if it's finance and that's what you want, then you may have to make that adjustment for that time being. It doesn't take away from who you are. Who I am is who I am. I'm versatile. I wear my hair straight, I put in curly locks, I do whatever I want because that's the world we live in. We're expressive. We express ourselves with our exterior, our hair, so forth. But for every setting, there's a uniform. When the policemen, they have to wear an exterior uniform that shows and identify them as a policeman. If you're a financial analyst and you walk in the presence of your customers, the customer's expecting you in a suit and tie and a level of professionalism. If you're working for Google and everyone walks around in sweats and skateboards, then yeah, you could do that.
You can do that.
But even when you go on the interview for Google, you should still be somewhat professionally dressed. Maybe not the suit and tie, but at least a button-down shirt for men and skirt and blouse or pantsuit for women.
What type of colors do and a don't? Because some people say that the colors sometimes, like I would wear red to an interview. Give us some feedback.
So red is an intimidating color in the financial district and anywhere in the corporate arena. When you wear red, it's almost as if you're saying, I'm challenging you, and I'm a little bit on the arrogant side. Confident, but a little on the arrogant side. So the color, whether it's men wearing red tie or women wearing red jacket or red shirt, anything with red sets a tone of challenge. Now, if you're in the garment district, red is okay because the garment district is about expressions, it's about innovation, it's about colors, and no one's looking at that. They're looking more at the content and the value that you bring to the table. But color it's best to be safe to stick to your blues, your grays, the corporate colors, that just kind of fits in.
So what kind of a question or answers should you, well, let me say question. What kind of a question should you not ask? Are things that you shouldn't say in an interview?
So when we ask the question, what's your 3 to 5 year goal? If I tell you from the C-level, VP of, executive of, that I've interviewed, and they've all answered that question incorrect. So they'll say, oh, I'm getting married next year, I'm going to buy a house, or, I'm going to go on a trip to Europe. Well, guess what? It's not really the appropriate answer because it's not relevant to whether you can do this job or not. It has no relevancy. You just completely took yourself out of the professional world and put it into your personal life. What they're looking for is a 3 to 5 year career goal. In a year, where do you see yourself in the company, progressing, growing, learning, bringing the skill set that you have to the table and implementing and embracing it into the role. That's what they're looking for. Even questions on, hey, do you have a succession management program for me if I choose to want to elevate myself to a director level, and how long will that take? But keep your personal stuff out of
the interview. Now, so what are some of the things that you should ask if you're going for a job interview? What's some of the questions that you might want to ask a potential employer?
Right. So now you're on the other side. So you want to ask questions like, where do I see myself in the next 3 to 5 years? Because I'm not a part of this organization and I don't know the corporate structure as far as the ladder, the direction that I can go in. Based off my skill set that you've seen, what other promotional opportunities do you have? Or even better than that, say something along the lines of, I notice you have benefits. This is towards the latter part of the interview. Can you elaborate more on the benefits, especially the medical and dental? Do you have life insurance? Or I notice you're a publicly traded company. Do you offer stock to employee stock to the employees?
So they're not going to see that as, okay, she hasn't even gotten the job yet and all she's concerned with is benefits. Because some people hesitate to ask that question because they're thinking that they may look at it that way.
Okay, so nowadays benefit has changed drastically. I'm actually in the healthcare arena now, and I'm recruiting on the healthcare level. Whether it's corporate, $11.6 billion company, or mom and pop, everyone's concerned about health benefits because the benefits has changed. So that's an appropriate topic for conversation now, and that has shifted in the past 2 years. So once upon a time, yes, to your point, I still don't think it's a question you would lead with, but it should be your second or third question. You really need to walk out of there having an understanding, but you choose who you present that question to, because if you meet with HR first, or you meet with the hiring manager second and HR first and then HR second, try to present those questions to human resources.
Not to the person
the person that you're going to report to or the executive of that division.
No, there's one thing that a lot of people don't know how to navigate around or don't know quite what to say. If you're asked, for instance, what salary are you looking for? Some people are a little nervous because if I say something that's too high, they may never even call me. So some people will say something like, well, I'll let you make me an offer. Is that a smart idea?
No.
And why?
Because all that tells me is you didn't do your research, or you're not aggressive enough, and this position requires somebody who's a little more outgoing and more aggressive. Typically, all of the salary ranges are on the website. You can do a research for your geographical city, state, on what the compensation range is. So everyone can do their research before they enter the workplace or the interview. So you have a range in mind on where you want to be. But what I would suggest is do not give a range less than where you want to be. Always aim high, because there's a chance within the range, but there's a chance that they may come down and give you a lesser salary. But if you present the minimum for the position, then guess what? If they come down, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be stuck negotiating your salary.
Okay. Now, for those people who are in temp positions and they're trying to make it into permanent position, what ideas, what suggestions you have for them?
Okay, so I love the temp positions and I love the consultant positions. A consultant and a temp are two different things.
How so?
Because a temp works hourly, typically, and a consultant has a contract, and within their contract there are certain benefits that they get that they negotiate during that time, and they're typically salaried. So if you work 50 hours, your pay is still the same. But you may get a week's vacation paid by the company, or you may get certain holidays off paid by the company. So there are certain benefits that a consultant get. But at the end of the day, both a temp and a consultant, that is your segue into the business. You're getting into the business, you're getting your foot in the door to present and show the company what you've got. And that's when you put your best foot forward, you give 110%. Of everything in every area.
Is it a good chance if you've been hired as a temp? What are the chances of you getting hired permanent? Is that ever something that works out? Not that it never works out, but is it a common thing that it works out, or is that sometimes leads to a dead end?
The past 3 years, almost every company, I would say 90% of the companies do temp to perm hire. Everyone wants to try you out first and see what you're made of, and then they go and hire you. So the hiring turnover conversion rate is about 90%. And I did the research on that just recently.
That's not bad. All right. Anything else that you wish to share with us in regarding the power of networking? How does networking help, for instance, the average person? I mean, it sounds nice, but how did that really work?
So, and I'll give you an example of networking. For me personally, I've never really presented my resume online or any place and gotten called for a job. I always get called because someone within my network, someone I knew, someone I worked with, someone I interviewed professionally, even if I didn't hire them, my level of professionalism, my staying in touch with them via email, my just communicating with them in some way, shape, or form, or my just impressing them have leveraged that relationship to one degree or another for the recommendation. So you never know who knows someone, and if a closed mouth doesn't get fed, so you really have to speak up and talk to people and let them know what it is you're aspiring to do. You may have a career job, but you're looking to get to that next level. As soon as you express it to someone, oh, so-and-so at such and such a company is looking for so-and-so, VP of, executive of, you never know.
So I would say to my children, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Absolutely.
Because rarely would you get the best jobs from just applying online or in a newspaper or things like that. So it's typically who you know, like somebody who you know could give a word out to you. So networking, I guess in that sense, that is networking. You're basically using those resources with from your connections, and people, I think, have a reference point when somebody that they know you, who they're trying,
Yeah.
That's always going to work better, I think.
Yeah. Most companies have referral programs, and the referral programs are successful because you're referring somebody you know. And we trust you to say if you're good, the chances are they may be just as good as you.
And most people don't want to mess with their job and bring somebody in that they think is going to embarrass them.
Yes.
Well, Deon Browne Harrison, it's always a pleasure to see you and to talk to you. And we're just going to get a little taste for what's going on here. And we'll let you go because we know you're getting ready to start this thing on the road.
Yes, thank you. So the power of networking, again, I want to mention my business partner, Melissa Monroe. She started this, it was her idea, and I saw it, I heard about it on Facebook through networking, through Women of Integrity, and I happened to reach out to her and say, hey, I love what you do and I want to be a part of it. And the rest is history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm here with Melissa Monroe.
Melissa Monroe.
Melissa
Yes.
Monroe. Okay, and you are, this is the first time we're meeting. You are the partner for Deon. And she was giving us her take on what this networking is about and what it does. And we just want to get your spin on it. Just share with us anything that you can.
So what this is
Because I understand
called,
that you're the funder.
yes.
Okay.
So this is called the power of networking. It's something that kind of came about. It wasn't planned totally. It was something based on my experiences in the workforce and I think the things I've been seeing in our community as a whole. As you know, sometimes we don't get the opportunities. I think sometimes we're the last to know. And I think there are mishaps that I think we make some not so good choices. And I think those choices sometimes set us back. So the workshops came about by networking, trying to get people to understand the importance of preparing themselves for the job market. One of the things I noticed, the biggest thing I noticed is because of being in HR, people would ask me for advice and their feedback on.
So you have an HR background?
Yes, I have my master's in HR, so I love it. It didn't happen. It wasn't totally planned to fall into HR. HR was totally by chance, but it was something that felt good as a profession. Like I always tell people, find something you love to do so that it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
So that's what I try to enforce with the workshops. The workshops help you think about what you're doing differently, how you can use your natural skills and your natural abilities to be better, do better. Again, I go back to our community. I'm from Belize originally. My mother's from Jamaica, so proud Caribbean here. So
you're Belizean.
Yes.
Okay.
So with the things I saw that she experienced, coming here from the islands, being in the workforce, it wasn't always an easy battle. It wasn't. She had to, maybe do the things behind the scenes as far as she was the assistant doing most of the work, but maybe wasn't getting the credit.
Right.
That happens a lot.
Right.
So that takes me back to, that administrative assistant. he or she, that might be the CEO, like the partner to the CEO. So never have a bad relationship.
Don't underestimate
Yes,
anyone.
don't. Never.
This assistant could be very powerful. You know what I
Very
mean?
much so.
So Deon was sharing with us some things about resumes and how to prepare, how to conduct yourself in an interview,
Right.
from the dressing to things you should ask, things you shouldn't ask. I don't know. You can just give your take on those things, and maybe there will be something in it that will be different from what she was talking about. And we're trying to get our viewers to get as much from this interview as possible, not just to cover the event, but to get some good information from the experts.
Definitely.
And so I just want
Well,
you to.
Deon and I, we think very much alike, so that's why this has worked so well. So, with regards to what to wear, as she touched on hair and how we dress, I always tell people, you can be true to who you are, but be professional in the way you do it.
Right.
We're women, we wear our hair many different ways.
Right.
This has been a topic sometimes on an interview where I've had to pull it back in a ponytail because it comes up, what are you, where are you from? So then I have to bring the interview back and kind of stray away from that topic. So to bring it back again, how you dress, again, it has to be professional. You don't want to be too loud depending on the industry. You want to know the industry that you're trying to get into. The industry will dictate your attire also. So if you're in the entertainment industry, maybe certain color nails, a certain outfit, a certain color scheme might look appropriate, while if you're in corporate, you may need to wear maybe some neutral colors.
If you have things like tattoos, it's a good idea to try to cover them up.
Again, it goes back to the industry.
Well, we're talking now, let's say the financial industry, a very conservative industry.
Conservative, I
What's
would
the
not.
chance of someone getting hired if they're covered with tattoos? Not that there's something wrong with tattoos, but for being judged.
Right.
Or with the 10 earrings in the ears.
I think do your research on the company. See who's representing the company. That will help you understand. Should I go in with short sleeve that shows tattoos all the way down to my arm? I've seen people wear long sleeves, and then once they got in the job,
They don't care. They just let it go.
Yeah, the boss is like, I didn't know you had all those tattoos, and he was impressed because he said, I really like that. So you just want to be safe in your interview process. I think that's the biggest thing. Be safe in how you're conducting yourself, what you're saying, but more so, represent as best as you can, and whatever that means to you and the industry area.
So how often do you guys have these seminars? How many of them? 6 a year, 5 a year?
Last year we
whenever.
It's 3 a year, so we try to do every 3 or 4 months because it does take time. It does take a lot of planning. It does take a lot of networking. The power of networking.
And I see that you have the materials that you have
Yes.
on the chairs.
Yeah, so Deon has some documents about interviews, and I have some things about preparing. So these are like tips for people to kind of prepare. So you'll see things that say what to do during, before, and after an interview, and all these things. It's very relevant because it's the big picture that people don't realize. It's very important. So it's not just going in front of the employer and interviewing. What do you do after? How do you make sure that from beginning to end you made a good impression?
There's another thing. Let's say that you went for an interview, you think it went well. Is it a good idea to send an email to the person who interviewed you, a follow-up email or something like that?
Definitely,
Is that going to seem too thirsty?
No, I'd rather you be thirsty. That tells me you want the job.
Oh, okay.
But it's how you're thirsty.
Oh, you're thirsty.
There's a kind of thirstiness. So I always tell people, definitely follow up, shoot an email, make a phone call, reflect on something that was said in the interview and say, thank you for bringing up such and such. It lets the employer know that you were listening, you were paying attention.
Yeah.
So they value now that, this person really wants it. So you want to be remembered.
Okay.
They're seeing 10, 20, however many people. Somehow you have to be remembered, whatever it is. If it's your hair, your attire, your smile, something. You need to resonate with the other person on the other end. Yeah.
Now, the Power of Networking is this event that you guys are giving. What is the name of your company and how can people get in touch with you guys?
Sure, it is called the Power of Networking. I'm big on social
So this
media.
is the Power of Networking and the company is also the Power of
Yes.
Networking? Okay. So the Power of Networking.
Yes.
And how does someone get in touch with you, ladies?
Sure, I'm going to give a few ways because everyone has a different, source. So you can catch me on Facebook, The Power of Networking, or Instagram, Power of Networking, or you can email me directly at Melicia, MELECIA, Monroe, MUNROE @hotmail.com, or call me directly, 347-420-9189, or I text. I'm up all night.
Okay, just go over the number again slowly.
Sure, 347-420-9189.
9189?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see that number on your screen below. All right, well, Melissa, it was really,
Thank you.
really a nice
Thank you so much.
conversation here, and I am sure that there are a lot of information both from what you've given, what Deon has given, that really people can walk away with.
Yes.
We need more of this in our community.
Oh, yes.
You know, because a lot of our young people, even sometimes the ones that are coming out of college or who's been on their job for a number of years, and then all of a sudden you're laid off and you're in the job market and you don't know the do's and don'ts. And sometimes you might have known it at one point, but it's changed.
I'm glad you said that.
Right.
Yes.
So it's good to have this kind of information out here.
Yes,
This kind of organization that really kind of put us straight a little bit.
Definitely.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Bye bye.